Hello, my friends. Welcome back to the channel. Philip the Pilot here. Today, we're talking delays. The number one cause for flight delays is the weather. And a lot of you out there don't understand how is it weather can affect your flight, especially if you're sitting at the airport, you look outside and it's so clear you can see all the way to heaven. You're sitting there thinking, weather? I don't see a single cloud in the sky. In fact, I can go out there and take a tan. Why is my flight delayed because of weather? Let's use this example. Say you're sitting in Kansas, Wichita, and you're flying to San Francisco. The gate agent comes over the PA system and lets you know that your flight is delayed due to weather. I don't see any weather. The plane that's taking you from Kansas to San Francisco is actually coming from New York. New York is sucked in by a blizzard, a thunderstorm with lightning. They may also have low visibility. Thus, it is unsafe for that aircraft to take off from New York to get to Kansas. That is why your flight is delayed. Sometimes the weather delay has nothing to do with your current location as the passenger. It has to do with the location from which your aircraft is coming from. Yeah. The other major cause of flight delays are mechanical/technical issues. An aircraft is a man-made complex element where everything has to work. It is a machinery. It's going to break. As pilots, we don't know that that aircraft isn't going to perform as it is supposed to until we start the aircraft. In many cases, passengers are already boarded. When we go to push that button or flip that switch, we look at the engine start gauges and it's just not giving us the correct numbers we are looking for. Or we hit that switch, we press that button, and nothing happens. The engine just doesn't respond. We have a mechanical issue. A software issue could be something such as the plane not being able to geolocate itself at its present location. We need to have that looked at. And some of you out there are probably saying to yourself, well, why don't you guys know this before you board the passenger? Think about this as you as a driver. You get up in the morning, you go to your car, you turn the key, you press that button, and nothing happened. You had no idea that that was going to happen until you try to start it. An aircraft is a complex piece of machinery that does the exact same thing. There's some things we can find out ahead before we try to start that engine, but most of those are software related. If we find it early during our pre-engine start check, we can have it addressed. And there is still no guarantee that it's actually going to be fixed by the time we're ready to go. There is this disbelief that airlines sometimes intentionally delay flights. They do, but in rare occasions. Let's say, for example, you have a connecting passenger coming in from an international flight. Say there is a passenger coming from China into San Francisco. They're then going to board a plane in San Francisco and fly to, I don't know, let's say Denver. instead of leaving not one passenger, the airlines may elect at their own discretion to delay the departure from San Francisco until that international flight lands. This is typical on a lot of international flights. Yeah. Crew. Sometimes crews are going to have their schedule for the whole day, but it doesn't mean that they'll be flying the same plane all day. They tend to switch planes as the day progress. Let's say a pilot lands at gate Alpha 12. His or her next flight may be in the same terminal. It may be just 3 or 4 gates down, but it can also be in a whole in terminal B at gate B24. He or she has to make that track from A to B if it's in a different terminal. If the flight landed late at gate Alpha 12 or A12, the crew, whether it is the pilot or the flight attendant, will be late getting to their next flight. For this reason, many times you will hear the gate agent will say, "We are waiting on the arrival of a crew member." And sometimes it can be a pilot, sometimes it can be a flight attendant. The airlines don't like when flights are delayed because it costs them money. Every time they remain at the gate a minute longer, a second longer than they're supposed to, they have to pay the airport a fee for that. The airlines are, I don't want to say it's their fault, but it's also kind of their fault still. Because sometimes they're not as efficient as they should be. A good example is this. One day I was in Denver, and I am well positioned to observe both the American airline operation and the Southwest operation. Southwest, this is no joke. Southwest turned 2 planes to American 1. The reason why Southwest was able to do this with such efficiency is because Southwest trained their ground personnel to be present when the plane is approaching. Southwest actually have their ground crew. From the time the plane lands, the ground crew is already at the gate waiting for the plane. I've seen this on many Southwest flights compared to American. The plane taxiing and you were literally sitting on the taxiway waiting for ground personnel to taxi the plane into its parking spot. Sometimes it takes 2 minutes, sometimes it takes 5 minutes, but that is a lot of time. That is a lot of time for passengers to be waiting on a plane because the airline is not prepared for an incoming flight. Mind you, it's a flight that they knew was coming. The other contributor to delays are baggages. The airlines, a little known secret about airlines, they're not only carrying passengers, but they're also carrying cargo. If they're waiting for a life-saving cargo, such as a kidney, a lung, they will delay the flight until that organ shows up. If they're waiting for passenger baggage, they will wait for those luggage to show up. Because in the US, you can't fly without your luggage. If you're on plane A, your luggage have to be with you on plane A. You can't have, except in cases where your luggage got lost and they managed to reacquire it 2 or 3 weeks later, then that is acceptable. Right, let me see. What else can cause flight delays? I think that's it. But the one thing I will say here, it's counterproductive to get upset with the gate agent. Trust me, The gate agent want to get you on that flight out of here as efficiently and as quickly as he or she can. Yelling at them, getting mad at them doesn't speed up the process because it's not their fault. It's not like they can go to New York and force the pilot to fly the plane to Kansas. There is nothing he or she can do in the event of a flight delay. And yes, we know that it's frustrating. We know you have you have time sensitive places that you need to to be, but there's very little we can do to address a flight delay that's not the cause of something that we do. Oh, wait a minute. Two more things. The first one is hmm, computer issues. I think about 2 or 3 months ago, a few of the airlines had their booking system down. Again, that's not the airline's fault. The airline couldn't predict that on Wednesday morning at 9:45, their booking system was going to stop working and all flights were going to be grounded and or delayed. It's not their fault. And finally, the last one is, I think I mentioned this one already, but it's waiting for arriving passengers. All right. I think that's it for this one, guys. Again, thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share these videos. I hope you find it helpful and informative. Until next time, be good.